Well, welcome back to Balancing Act, Living Life in Harmony. We're back again with my friend, partner in crime cohort, Linda Wilson from Denver, Colorado. I am in Tampa, Florida, and we have a very special guest this week again in Lynzy Groves, who is talking to us about the walk to end Alzheimer's. And this is a situation or a disease, I guess, which is very dear to my heart. And I know Linda's been affected with it, and Lynzy, you've been affected with it. So talk to us about the walk. Talk to us about how to get involved locally, what all we can do to, and then the benefits, because everybody's going to know, well, why should I do this?
Absolutely. So yeah, the Walk to End Alzheimer's program exists in more than 600 communities nationwide. So whether it's a bigger city, like, I will lump Pittsburgh into a bigger city because we are one of the top walks in the country. But if it's somewhere like here or somewhere in a small town, we have probably a walk within about 30 to 40 minutes of anywhere that you are in the United States. So
Oh, wow.
the best way to get involved, we have a website that's alz.org/walk. And that will take you to basically a zip code search. So you can search for your local walk in your local community. And then they connect you if you want to participate. You can see the local staff person that's in charge of the walk's contact information, and along with anything that you want to know about your local Walk to End Alzheimer's event. These all take place in the fall. So from between August and typically November is when we start wrapping them up. Maybe some in the warmer areas that go a little further, but I know here in Pennsylvania we're done by the first weekend of November because it's too cold. But yeah, you can find your local individual that will help you get started, or you can just simply register to participate. So what we recommend is, even if it's just a small team, start a team, be creative with your name of your team. I know my pap's name was Gary, and it's all of us women in his life, so we call it Gary's Girls, and we just get a little creative with it. But I've seen some fun references to loved ones in these team names. But even if it's just a team of one, it's still, you're coming in and you're having access to people who know what it's like, and I really feel like it's a family reunion every single year that I go to these walks.
Wow. It's so I'll apologize if there's background baby noise. I am babysitting, and she's being very active today. And her middle name was my mom's name.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And it's hard. And folks, look, the percentages of folks who are affected by this disease is phenomenal. More than likely, you or somebody in your family has been affected, is affected, and it's going to touch your life one way or another. Right. And the only way we can, in my opinion, is to combat all these things is if we come together as community. And that's what you're talking about in this walk, right? Is community.
Absolutely. I mean, I ask the question at least a few times a week because I'm in Pittsburgh. So I say, what does Pittsburgh look like and who's missing? We really try to go through our communities and make sure that we have some form of contact, whether the first step is education. We can come in and do those educational events and team kickoffs at your workplace, or even with your friends and family teams. It's really, we try to make this as easy as possible because we know caregivers go through so much. Right. So don't think that if you reach out to a local staff member that you're inconveniencing them. We are waiting to talk to you, and we will talk to you. So a lot of the individuals that I felt so supportive when my grandfather passed from dementia, a lot of them were my volunteers that were reaching out and saying, hey, what do you need? How can we help? Or just being there I'd get choked up a lot the first few months when I was at events because I couldn't escape it at that point. Yeah. But just knowing that, I've built that community with these individuals I've known this is my 4th year at the association. Those connections are so impactful and meaningful. It truly, I think it makes a difference because caregiving is so hard and takes so much.
What kind of resources do they have for caregivers?
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
What kind of resources do do they have for caregivers?
Yeah, so the most I'd say the most important one, they're all important, but I
Mhm.
really think that those caregiver support groups are vital, just so you can have conversations with individuals that are going through the same thing that you are in some capacity. We do have some more specialized ones with, like if there's an early onset case or something like that. We try to make it as customized as possible so that the experiences are more similar. But I've even connected teams that had similar stories that now they're friends and they realize they lived 10 miles from each
Right.
other, and really they became their own support group. So that's why I say, like, the Walk to Alzheimer's in your community is probably the largest support group you can go to. Other forms of caregiver support, like reach out to your local chapters. It's a little bit different in every area, but when we really try to provide that educational piece, there's a lot that we can point to different resources, like through our community resource finder for individuals, but really our 800 number, the helpline, they can find more customized resources for any caregiver that's going through any situation.
That's awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at your the information you sent with the impact of Alzheimer's in the workplace. It's phenomenal. Six in
It
ten
is.
caregivers were employed during the past year, averaging 35 hours a week while they're full time caregivers.
Absolutely. So their work never stops. I mean,
Yeah,
they leave
yeah,
one job and to go to another. And the other part of this is, how many of those caregivers have to take extra time off? How
Mhm.
many of them take sabbaticals? How many of them get written up for going in
yeah,
late too
yeah.
many times or having to leave early?
And then the stress of being at work when you know your loved ones at home
Yeah.
and you know what they're going through.
Or finding someone to even be with them.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
We live in a society, especially since COVID, and in my personal opinion, we live in such a segmented society where we're kind of all doing our own thing, and there's
mhm,
not as much of that community feel anymore. We're all doing things like this online, whether it's down the street from each other or just a text
right,
message away. But when push comes to shove, you really need some support in your back pocket, and
right,
building those networks of people, even from just, I just recommend go to your walk. Just experience it. Meet the people that are going through this. There's no way you're going to leave uninspired. I mean,
mhm,
there's something for everyone at these events, and just knowing how much, I've been doing this obviously for this is my fifth walk season, and I've seen many different types of walks, from city walks to the more rural. Everything feels a little bit different, but we all have that same core messaging of uniting and each other and in this community sense, and really rallying these individuals, because we're not touching every single person. Um, some people don't want to ask for help, but maybe if they go to something like this, they can see, well, you don't have to ask. It's right there
yeah,
in front of
it's
you.
right there. Yeah,
But we do a lot of work with even just the visual of connectivity with our organization, because every walk, regardless of where you're at, will have a promise garden ceremony. And those promise garden flowers, so they're little pinwheel flowers that each person can take home if they would like to. But each color represents a person's relationship to the disease. So
mhm,
purple is if you've lost someone, that's our association color. Blue is if you're currently living with the disease. Yellow is for caregivers, and then orange are for advocates and like general supporters of the cause. And we'll actually have like stories being shared on each stage, and we'll ask people to raise their flower to show their relationship. And then there's one flower that there's only one color of at every walk, and we use it at the end of the ceremony. It's our white flower, which signifies our future first survivor of the disease. So when you see all of that, I don't even know how many walks to end Alzheimer's I've attended in the past few years, but it gets me every time.
yeah,
And I'm not an emotional person. It's just one of those things that it just truly hits my core. And that's, I think, why it's so important to get people there so that they can understand it's okay to feel mad. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to experience what you're going through, and listen to what listen to yourself and listen to what you need to do, and then build community upon that, because there's someone there that's going through the exact same thing that you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I think that sense of not being alone,
Yeah.
because I think caregivers,
Hmm.
as a rule, usually they're doing what they're doing because they feel that they're the only one that can, or the only
Right.
one that should. And when you get together for a community activity like a walk, it lets them see everyone else there
Hmm. Hmm.
Right.
that's having that experience as well.
Hmm.
Right.
And to me, that's one of the most powerful parts, is realizing it's not just you.
Yeah.
Right. And it's so socially isolating, this
Yeah.
disease.
Yes. Yes.
From the person living with the disease, that's one of our 10 warning signs, is pulling back from normal social activities. Like, my
Yep.
grandfather suddenly didn't want to golf with his friends that he'd grown up with, and we knew
Mm.
that that was a problem. So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
a red flag. But that in itself, but caregiving, when you have a loved one, especially if you have them at home, even if you don't have them at home, I know caregivers that go every single day to
Mhm.
visit their spouse, or their kids are going every single day, something. So you're taking all that time away from your life to make
Hmm.
sure that they're okay. So you're becoming then socially
Right.
isolated too. And then in the aftermath, it's like the what now? So if you're in that what now, or if you need that backup, I think the walk is the best place to get started. I really do. And I don't just
So,
say that because I work there. I mean that.
what's a typical walk look like? Somebody, because
Yeah.
somebody who has never done it.
Sure. It's typically a Saturday or Sunday morning, where that depends on the location. So we usually invest about 3 to 4 hours in that day. So you come in, obviously, if you fundraise, you can drop off some donations you've collected, or anything that you want to at the beginning, or you can do it all online. I mean, that's the one nice
Hmm.
thing COVID brought, was all of
Yeah.
our flexibility with online
With online. Yeah.
fundraising. But when you walk in, it's really like a welcome home ceremony. So when you come in, you're guided through the event. You pick up your Promise Garden flowers. You can customize them. Like, you can write whoever's name on it. You can, if you have kiddos that are attending with you, it's age appropriate, from 0 to 100, or 100 plus. So whoever you want to bring with you. There's something for everyone, from a kids zone to caregiver resource areas, to, like, in Pittsburgh, we have research in our own backyard. We bring the researchers to walk so they can talk to people. There's entertainment, obviously, some snacks, the typical walk if you've participated with any other organization.
Okay.
But then that ceremony starts, and you get to hear from a caregiver at least, and then hear some stories of individuals just like you with that Promise Garden ceremony. And then you go out on the walk route. It is not a tipped walk. There is no entrance fee. There's nothing associated with that. So please come as you are. Our walks they're all accessible. Obviously, we work with an aging population predominantly, so we make sure that everything like that's taken care of. But usually there's a 1 and 2 mile option, or you can just hang out in the event hub, and have some snacks and camaraderie if that's what you choose to do. So really, it's just a fun way to acknowledge something that most people don't want to talk about,
Right.
and build that community.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's you just hit the nail right on the head with most people don't want to talk about.
Mhm.
It's one of those. First off, it's hard to explain,
Hmm. It
right?
is.
And there are so many different. Um, my grandmother, um, and I don't know that they ever. They said she had Alzheimer's, she had dementia, they had whatever. But
Mhm.
my grandmother got mean.
Okay.
Okay,
Hmm.
my mom never did. She
Yep.
was, the only time she was unhappy is, there were times she acted like a 2 year old.
Yep.
And so, but she never got mean. So you had the two, and that was her mom.
Right.
So,
It's
And
a
so,
spectrum. It really
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah. And so, and so to try to explain it to people sometimes, and boy, I don't like to say you have to experience it to understand it, but you do have to know somebody
Right.
or see it come to pass to really understand how
Mhm.
difficult it can be.
Right.
Um, in the beginning, when mom and dad moved back to be with Jean, um, there was a period of time where mom forgot who dad was.
Mhm.
Now they were married like 65 years, so and
Right.
really had never really been apart. I mean, for any real length of time. But there's when it finally, I don't know if it really ever dawned on her who
Mhm.
Frank was. After at that point in time, except that, um, yeah, the one thing that was missing was they always had their little way of um, going at each other, or it was always kind of fun to watch sometimes, and and so there was a little bit of that towards the end, but then dad got sick too. So,
Mhm.
um, and when he passed, she was lost.
Right.
There was all of a sudden nobody in the room, and so
Yeah.
that was tough on her too. So, but then she lived another 2 years, almost 3 years. So,
Right. And that's actually not to diminish your story, but that is common. Usually the primary caregiver, if this is an extended battle with a form of dementia, and just for listener purposes, Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia, just in
mhm,
case there was any question there.
yeah,
But when we see that, it actually, I want to say that it's above 60%. I'm not sure the exact statistic right off the top of my head, but caregivers do end up letting go of their own health or having a health
Mhm.
crisis that
mhm,
they may pass before the person they're caregiving
yeah,
for.
yeah,
So really, when we talk about caregiver support, it is vital to
Yes.
their survival, in essence, to make sure that you have those resources and that sense of somewhere to turn to or someone to turn to
yeah. That
that
sense of
does need
community. That Yeah.
help. Mhm.
Yeah, I think that what you're doing here, Lindsay, is just very very much needed, and to help create that sense of community, that feeling that there is somebody you can reach out to,
Mhm.
and talk to about it, and it's becoming so uh, uh, common or prevalent that
Right.
people are willing to start talking about it. Even
Absolutely.
even a few years ago when mom passed, people weren't talking about it,
No.
and now I've been around. I'm 72, but been around senior community for a lot of years in
Mhm.
ministry and things like that, and so have
Sure.
been very very aware of some of the issues and concerns and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But people would come to visit their loved ones at the residences, and not want to talk about what was happening to them.
It's
You know?
tough. I mean, and I think it's just we are so uncomfortable with the fact that the person that is living with this disease is really no longer the person that we know and love.
Yeah.
So knowing that we have options that you can work with us, we even have little cards that you can keep in your wallet or your purse that say, if you're in public and maybe someone says something that's maybe not as appropriate as you want it to be, or make someone uncomfortable, you can even hand it over and say, this person is living with Alzheimer's dementia. Can you please be a little patient? Um,
Oh, okay.
we have those resources locally at the chapter level. I
Okay.
mean, sometimes when you say, my so and so has Alzheimer's or dementia, then you have that additional conversation with them because maybe they don't remember, and that's
Yeah.
common. So we don't
Yeah.
want to start, we want to alleviate stress off the caregiver.
Yeah.
So if we can do
Right. Right.
something
Right.
as
Right.
little as that, we will. But it is a growing problem, and now I think that people are more willing to talk about it
Mhm.
because the association's a lot more vocal now about this
Good.
disease and fighting. But let's call it what it is. It's a public health crisis.
It is. It is.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. So Lynzy reminds us as we come to a close here today. So I'm in Tampa, Florida. Linda's in Denver, Colorado. We have people who are listening from all over the country.
Yes.
What is the best way for them to get a hold of their local organization or find out if there's a chapter nearby them?
Oh, yes. We have about 80 chapters across the country. So go to alz.org and you will be able to search for your chapter. If you are interested in just finding a walk in your community and getting connected from the chapter that way, alz.org/walk. We make it pretty simple.
Okay, that's really good. And Lynzy, we're going to have to reach out to Paul Martinelli and tell him that we have another Pittsburgh fan on our show.
Absolutely.
He's from there. So, Lynzy, thank you so much for sharing.
Oh,
And
Yes.
thank you
thank you
for
for
bringing
your
this to the
time.
forefront. So we really appreciate it. Linda, any final comments?
No, again, just thank you so much. I know that this will be very beneficial to our
Yes.
community because I'm sure a lot of us are fighting through that right now. So
Absolutely. Well, we're here to help no matter what time of day. Obviously, please feel free to reach out to your local chapter, use the helpline number, go to our website, whatever we can do. We're here for you.
All right. Thanks again,
awesome.
Lynzy. Linda, we'll see you next week.
All right.
All
Have a
right.
great one, everybody.
You all
Thanks,
have a great
Lynzy.
one. Be blessed.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.